We are on a mission to create a brand new $28 billion medtech category and revolutionize vascular access globally. I'm Dr. James Stone. I'm the inventor of the Cannulight device and the founder and CEO of Cannulight Technology. The problem we're solving is failed IV access. Did you know that IV access is the most performed medical procedure worldwide, with an estimated 1.4 billion performed each year? Did you also know that the failure rate was about 35%? That increases to 46% if you have a medical intern coming at you with a needle, but it can also increase to 75% in some pediatric cases. Not good, not acceptable. The consequences of failed IV access are patient harm, delayed treatment, and increased costs to healthcare institutions. In battlefield or emergency out-of-hospital settings, the consequences can be loss of life. I experienced the problem firsthand in my clinical practice, and I occasionally had to cancel a surgery because I couldn't insert the IV line to sedate the patient. The result of that was a very upset patient, rightly so, a cost to my business of thousands of dollars, and the damage to my reputation. And I'm not alone. Failed IV access is so common that somehow it's just become an accepted part of routine medical care, and most people in this room will have experienced it themselves at some point. The existing technologies are ultrasound devices and vein viewers. They're expensive, they require training, and they introduce an additional skill requirement into an already tricky procedure. So I couldn't find the technology I wanted, so I created it in a tool shed to begin with. The solution is Cannulight, a beautifully simple, cost-efficient, disposable IV needle accessory. Cannulight is a simple pressure sensor. It attaches to the needle. When the needle hits the vein, it lights up green. If the needle exits the vein due to user error or patient movement, the green light turns off, so you know you're not in the vein. The user can then reposition the needle into the vein, the green light turns on again, and then they can rescue what would otherwise have been a failed procedure. So this is our device here, needle in the vein, green light turns on. We've also developed a Cannulight arterial for arterial line placement and a Cannulight infrared for use with night vision goggles, and we'll get to that later. Our devices look simple, but in reality, a huge amount of creative and exact design work has gone into them. And as a result of that, we have generated extensive and robust IP. We have 2 patents filed and pending, and we've got design registration in multiple regions. Our manufacturing line can produce 1 million of these a year and can be easily scaled with investment. Our manufacturing tolerances are tiny. So we've also developed a lot of really valuable top secret know-how in our manufacturing processes. So, does it work? Well, the results from our first independent human study were incredible. The New Zealand Navy designed the study and performed it during exercises in the Tasman Sea. During a simulated missile attack on the ship's medical emergency team had to go around the vessel, finding casualties, triaging, treating them, and that included inserting an IV line. In those dark, cramped, stressful conditions, Cannulight improved the first stick success rates from 27% to 89%. And in those situations, that could be the difference between life and death. So the Navy described it as a game changer, and we are, of course, delighted with those results. So we know that Navy love the device, but who else does? We've collected feedback from about 130 clinicians at various conferences we've attended in the US and some in New Zealand. Clinicians loved the simplicity of Cannulight. 92% felt confident using it. 95% said it didn't change their existing technique, which is really important. 87% said they'd use it on difficult patients, but 47% said they would use it on every single case. And that translates to about 700 million Cannulight devices per year. Our most exciting traction has been with the military. In September 24, Cannulight Technology, in partnership with the US Marine Corps, was awarded US military funding via the Foreign Comparative Testing Program. That funding will be for in-field testing of the Cannulight device, but also the development and testing of the Cannulight infrared, which they use with night vision goggles, which is very cool. We have just manufactured our first order for the US Marines, and we're about to issue them with our first invoice. First invoice is an incredible milestone for any startup, but for us, this is meaningful product validation and is the first step to a 5-year procurement deal with the US Department of Defense. So we know the military market is big, but in order to achieve my vision of Cannulights being in every hospital and helping patients around the world, we look at the total market size. So total market is 28 billion, SAM is 13 billion, and SOM is 442 million. That's based on a modest uptake of Cannulight devices in hospitals in North America and Europe. North America and Europe account for about 2/3 of the global market, and there's a 9.5% predicted growth rate per annum. And with the user feedback we've received so far, we're confident that we can realize these numbers. We're making good regulatory progress. We are on a 510K FDA pathway. Anticipated filing date is June this year, and expected clearance is then Q3 or Q4 2025. Since we submitted these slides to LSI, geopolitical changes have meant NATO countries are increasing their defense spending. As a result of that, we've decided to expedite our entry to the European market, and we now actually anticipate CE clearance in Q1 of 2026. So, why are we here at LSI? We will launch Cannulight in the US in 2026. I'm confident that our existing team can handle the military demand, but in order to achieve my vision of Cannulights in every hospital, helping patients all around the world, we need to find and work with strategic partners. We've already started conversations with 5 of the largest global IV catheter manufacturers, and several of those conversations are already progressing under NDA. At the moment, we've got enough cash runway to get us through FDA clearance and CE clearance, but we will need to raise $10 million towards the end of 2025, early 2026, to prepare us for a US market launch. So, come and join us, make lots of money, help billions of patients, and maybe have some fun. So thank you.